A Flight of Fancy About Psychic Predictions and Probabilities by Adrienne Hill, from the January-February 2026 issue of Skeptical Inquirer. Here One Moment, a best-selling novel by Liane Moriarty, is a thought-provoking exploration of fate, fear, grief, mental illness, and mathematics. My reading experience had its twists and turns. I questioned whether I should continue or not. Initially, I felt uneasy with what seemed like an endorsement of psychic phenomena, a theme I find challenging to connect with unless the book is fanciful. Moriarty's books are far from fanciful. They send you into the world of the characters, making you cry, laugh, and connect. The characters become your best friend or your bully. The book starts with an older woman walking down the aisle of a plane traveling from Hobart to Sydney in Australia. She points to passengers and members of the flight crew, predicting their cause of death and their age at which it will occur. The book continues following many of the people who received the predictions and details how they dealt with this apparent knowledge of, in some cases, their imminent deaths. If this had been my first book by Moriarty, I likely would not have finished it, but I was familiar with her style as exhibited by the book 9 Perfect Strangers, which starts by seemingly advocating high-priced wellness retreats, but eventually delves into the pros and many cons of these institutions, using a complex weave of individual stories. Moriarty's subtle foreshadowing hinted at a logical explanation, which reassured me to continue and kept me curious about how the story would unfold. Yet my discomfort grew as I proceeded because many of Moriarty's characters advocated for the belief that the woman was a psychic, especially when the predictions seemed to be coming true. Moriarty masterfully portrays how the predictions ripple through the lives of the passengers and flight crew. One passenger reconnects with an old friend, and one passenger becomes a more cautious driver. The author enters the realm of mental health, correctly describing effective treatments and the often hidden symptoms of obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, illustrating how harmful psychic predictions can be for those with the diagnosis. She discusses the wide variety of symptoms for people experiencing depression, including lesser-known aspects such as smiling depression. In the book's second half, examples and discussions of statistics and common fallacies slowly become more frequent. The story incorporates independent variables, randomness, probability, and the gambler's fallacy correctly and in a way that is easy to understand. This challenges the characters and readers to question their understanding of chance versus causality, emphasizing the interplay between perception, coincidence, and logic. I wonder if a believer in psychics would experience the reverse of my own experience. They might begin by loving the book and the concept that people can predict the future, with their thoughts turning uncomfortable as the explorations of probability and randomness evolve. Additionally, while reading the acknowledgments at the end of the book, I noticed Moriarty listed Mark Edwards' book, Psychic Blues, Confessions of a Conflicted Medium, as a resource. This reference helped explain her accurate depiction describing the methods that psychics tend to use. As the layers of the mystery surrounding the psychic lady on the plane unravel, the novel evolves into an engaging exploration of love, loss, and logic. Initially, I found the theme challenging, but Moriarty's trademark wit, intricate plotting, and interesting characters kept me reading, especially as precise portrayals of mental health issues and mathematical discussions occurred as the novel progressed. Here One Moment by Moriarty is my favorite of her books to date, mainly because of the cognitive dissonance I faced while reading it, while becoming increasingly attached to the characters. Thank you for listening to Skeptical Inquirer Audio Edition. This podcast is produced by the Center for Inquiry at our headquarters in Amherst, New York. If you would like to support our work, please consider subscribing to Skeptical Inquirer magazine at skepticalinquirer.org. It is listeners like you that make our work possible. With your support, we can continue to promote science, reason, and secular values throughout the world. Thank you.